So MLK led us into a burning house. So will you clarify that
Yeah,
to the people? Yeah.
yeah. MLK led us into a burning house because when integration happened, it did not benefit us. What they were doing is they were taking black students in black communities and busing them out of their communities to white communities where the students were throwing rocks at them, assaulting them in the school, and they were in a hostile environment. But that was supposed to be somehow beneficial to us. What really would have needed to happen for integration to be on equal footing would be that the black schools, if the black schools didn't have, the best books and the best materials for their curriculum, then money needed to be funded into the black community to improve the housing and improve the schools so that then you could have white families and white students going from their community to be a part of the black community and go to those black schools, as well as black families and black students going to the white communities to go to the white schools, and balance it back and forth. But us just going to the white school and being treated in a hostile environment, that did not help us. Also with integration, then at that point we became subject to the jurisdiction and laws of the United States, which, as we know, is corrupt. There
Yup.
is no justice in the United States. So
No.
what happened with integration is we were put under the foot of Uncle Sam. We were put under his heel. That's how they were able to utilize the prison industrial complex. And that's why so many of our, our people are behind the wall in purgatory. MLK led us into a burning house. The FBI document said if MLK were to reject his
White
obedience to the
liberalism.
white liberal
Yup.
agenda, he would have been a black messiah. He didn't realize that until it was already too late. And MLK got us integrated. That didn't help us. That wasn't the solution. And that's why Stokely started turning up with that Pan-Africanism, because he was a part of the civil rights movement. And then post-integration, once we seen that didn't benefit us. That's when, we started having the Pan-African movement at that point. Then we had the black,
Pan-Africanism movement.
yep,
Okay.
and we had the Black Power movement. So integration didn't help us, and that's why they teach MLK in schools. That's why we have the marches, because he helped
all these
them.
fucking streets
He helped
named after them
against us. He helped
And the
them
government
against
makes
us.
money off these fucking street
So
signs and shit.
1965, they assassinate Malcolm X. All right, Malcolm X is our black messiah. Malcolm
Yeah.
X is essentially our King Selassie, as far as black militancy is concerned. And if you don't know the history of Malcolm X, go read that autobiography that Alex Haley wrote. And let me address Alex Haley real quick.
Alex Haley.
Alex Haley didn't write Roots. The majority of Roots was plagiarized from a novel that I believe was written by a white man, which was called The African. And I almost said Haley Selassie. Alex Haley was sued for that plagiarism, and apparently the government paid off the settlement. Alex Haley was most likely recruited out of naval intelligence as an operative to get close to Malcolm X and to write his memoir as a way to censor the life of Malcolm X, the speech, philosophy, ideology of Malcolm X, as well as he was probably leaking information about him. Alex Haley, he was most likely an agent, and the autobiography, yes, it tells you life of Malcolm X, but it was censored, it was modified, Alex Haley probably had ghostwriters who were using his notes to write it. He probably didn't even write it himself, but it's the closest thing we have, to get to that narrative of Malcolm X. At this point, it's pretty much it's kind of like reading, a myth. It's like reading the myth of Malcolm X. It's not actually what happened, but it's close enough. And there's also the Diary of Malcolm X was published by the family, the Shabazz family published that, and that's his actual diary entries from when he traveled around Africa with the Malcolm X committee. So they assassinate Malcolm in 65, and that's what sets off the Black Power movement. Malcolm X demonstrated it only takes one man to spark change. When they took our black messiah, they got the wheel rolling. That's what set the Black Power movement off. So then you have Amiri Baraka going to Cuba, and going around with Fidel Castro. He wrote Cuba Libre, and we had the revolution over there in Cuba. That was part of the Black Power movement. Amiri Baraka later went on to start the Black Arts movement, which consisted of stage plays, literature, all of the arts, all of that. Amiri Baraka, I never heard Amiri Baraka's name mentioned in any education institution I've ever been in.
Like, man.
College, school, no one ever mentioned Amiri Baraka's name. He's one of the most prolific intellectuals the world's ever seen. And he just made transition not that long ago, 2014.
Yeah,
he made
2014.
transition. Rest in power.
Rest in power,
Black
man.
power. Rest in black
yeah,
power.
yeah. Rest in power, Amiri Baraka, for real.
So you have Amiri Baraka, you got Stokely. Eventually he took the name Kwame Ture. You know what I mean? He started promoting Pan-Africanism. And we also have, in the midst of the 60s, we have Bob Marley rising to prominence. You know
Rest
what I mean?
in power, Bob Marley.
We have him bringing the Rastafarian movement to the forefront of the world. People seeing Jamaica, you know what I mean? And that's also part of that time era. We have Jimi Hendrix, you know what I mean?
Jimi Hendrix,
Hendrix
yeah.
bringing that revolutionary mentality.
I've been on that Jimi Hendrix frequency, so.
We have Hendrix, yeah.
Yeah,
Hendrix
for real.
brought that revolutionary mentality to the music. He pretty much took what Chuck Berry did with expanding from rhythm and blues to rock and roll, and then he went even farther and created electric church music, and no one's, replicated that. No one's ever replicated what Hendrix
So yeah,
did.
like in I think the late 60s it was. You know, we had a lot of revolutionary energy in music. You know, Marvin Gaye did a whole political album, What's Going On. He really got political. Then we had, of course, Bob Marley from Jamaica.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
To the forefront.
Yeah. You know, we had more revolutionary attitudes in music, and of course, COINTELPRO is in on countering the intelligence of that
that's why I'm gonna get
because
to
it had
next.
an influence. People
Yeah.
felt like, you know what I mean? And of course, you know, we had the hippie movement and whatnot, and, you know, free speech.
Psychedelics, revolution.
Psychedelics, LSD, smoking hella weed, shrooms, and whatnot. And that opens up your mind, too, you know what I mean? And that influenced a lot
Yes,
of what the
60s
music that people were
was an
doing.
extremely turbulent time in America.
Yeah.
It was also a time
Lot
of
going
a lot
on.
of revolutions. I believe that's a time when women were having the sexual revolution. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The revolution of freedom of sexual expression with women.
Yeah.
And I believe the feminists started rising up during that time as well. But as far as the Black Power movement is concerned, this is where we need to address the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.